3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of using a sprite sheet to bring in a character and animate them in your game in Scratch. What we're going to do first is open our image from part 1. So I'm going to open up my Snorlax image right here on my sprite sheet, and what I need to do now is I'm going to isolate the frames that I need for my walking animation. We're going to do the idle animation later, so to start, let's just get our walking animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to crop that out. The crop tool is the tool that Pixlr starts with, and so what you want to do now is select that walking animation and then press enter. So it'll crop out everything else. So we want to get this as close as possible without losing any details. But I'm going to go into my magic wand tool. I need to double click to unlock 1, 2, and I'm going to click on the background and I'm going to press delete. So that should be getting rid of mostly everything. So if I look over here, if you look at his toes, you'll see there's a little bit of color. So you want to go around your sprite sheet and just basically double check, make sure everything is deleted. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do edit, and I'm going to canvas size, and I'm going to take that height, I'm going to turn it up to 200. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to select these 4 frames here and get them as close as possible. I'm going to do an edit cut and edit paste. I'm going to take these guys and just have them, instead of having them all on a line like that, I'm going to take these guys and just center them a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to crop. So the reason I want to do that is so our aspect ratio won't be too long. So this is looking pretty good. I'm about 300 by 150, so low res, but I think that'll be great. I'm gonna do a file, save image, and save again as Snorlax walking sprite sheet. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Scratch and click create. I'm going to right click here and delete that sprite, and I'm gonna open up a sprite sheet. So now when you come into Scratch, if you go to your costumes tab, you should have your sprite sheet in Scratch. First step is that you right click duplicate, and you right click duplicate the numbers of frames that you're going to animate with. So for right now there's 8 images. I'm going to duplicate 8 of them. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to tap that plus icon. I'm going to switch over to the eraser. In our next step, you can make the eraser bigger on the bottom left. Is I'm going to erase on frame 1, I'm going to erase everything except the first Snorlax. All right. And then I'm going to continue down, and now on frame 2, I'm going to erase everything except the second Snorlax. And I'm sure you see where I'm going with this. I'm just going to continue down repeating this until I finish with all the frames. So I'm going to fast forward in just a second. So now when you have all of your individual frames out, I'm going to go back to the first one, and what we need to do is center each frame. We're going to use this tool here called the Set Costume Center. So I'm going to left click on that, and it's going to bring up a crossbar. Be very careful with this because it's easy to mess up. What we want to do is pick one object on his face. Click zoom in again. And we want to center every single one of these frames on that object. I'm going to pick his right tooth. So I'm going to left click and I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to just click right on that single pixel. So I'm going to do his right tooth, sorry. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do the same thing again, right tooth. At the point that you have all of your frames, you can go back and forth and they're all centered. Then we are done with part 2, and we will get into animating this with code for part 3. You're getting close to successfully having animated your first character. I'm very excited to see what you make. All right, have a great one. Bye.